Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar all around delivering the curriculum for Wales with Apple, and it's all around coding today, which is great. I'm joined today by Martin Jones. Martin, thank you very much for joining.
My pleasure. Looking forward to working with everybody this afternoon on coding.
It should be a really good session. And just before we get going, I'm just going to cover a couple of little housekeeping bits and pieces. On the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see there's a chat window. Feel free to put questions in there and we'll pick up questions as we go. I'm going to drop some links in there a bit later on as well that we'll refer to throughout today's session. We are a couple of seconds ahead of you, and if there is any technical problems, touch wood, fingers crossed, it won't happen, but we can generate a new room. We've got like a panic button and it generates a new room. So fingers crossed that won't happen today. Right, I'm going to let you, Martin, introduce yourself.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. So I'm Martin Jones, an Apple Professional Learning Specialist and also Director at Value Added Education. So you can see on the screen, there's my X, formerly known as Twitter. So it's Martin___Jones. Love it if you wanted to follow me. I'll follow back and you can share some work and you can reach out and make contact. So yeah, I've been working sort of on coding. I'd say now for about 10 years, and we got to the stage where working and we're building apps with children in South Wales, apps that are published on the App Store. So obviously coding has become a big part of my life. It took me a little while to develop the skills to be able to publish apps, but I think things have got a lot easier recently with the content and the resources that are being produced by Apple. So today is about showing you some activities that you can just go back and use with the children in your classroom. Swift Playground is absolutely fantastic. And I say Swift UI, the coding language, that's been the big change for me. And we're getting to the stage now where we're getting the children in primary schools making the content for apps, but more importantly, some of the children are starting to actually code activities that are going into live app projects, and we're going to touch on that today, and hopefully give you some inspiration and ideas that you can take back to the classroom.
Fantastic.
Thank you. So,
do you want to?
Yeah. So Playground is going to be looking at there's some built-in activities, and we're going to start by looking at Learn to Code one. There's so many opportunities and ways of engaging children using these resources, and I say everything I shared on any course I've run, and especially today, I've tried in the classroom. I've worked in the classroom with the children. I think it's really important to share my experiences, and obviously in schools we have different abilities of children, but there's some children who maybe have lower abilities in some parts of the curriculum, but when it comes to coding, they can really they're quite inspired, and they're children who are desperate to want to be coders and app designers and game designers, and the resources it allows them to achieve. So Learn to Code one is going to be a nice place to start. And I think if we go on to the next slide, Ryan. Yeah, and then getting started with code is going to be more activities. There are lots and lots of resources that you'll be able to use with the children in different ways. I'll be explaining those in a moment, but they're fun, they're engaging, and the children get to see real code, which I think is really important. Block coding it's got its place in the classroom, but when the children get to see the Swift UI code, they won't become afraid of it, and it builds confidence as well. I think the last one we're going to look about, this is where All About Me, which is a lovely little starter activity, and we're going to deep dive into using Swift UI code. And this is where children can actually start to make apps themselves. So I think last week on creativity, we built an app icon, and I'll be showing you later then how you're able to incorporate that app icon into a live app. And this potentially could end up being published onto the App Store just by using the resources there. So hopefully you'll be able to take things back to the classroom with you.
Fantastic.
And just about with any app project that we create, it's about an authentic and relevant learning experience. We say the first thing we say to the children is, if we're going to build an app, we've got to try and solve a real world problem. Do we want to improve the health and well-being? Do we want to educate children, for example, about Merthyr? We built an app there. So starting with that and getting the children then to be able to publish their work. And what we're finding is that because their work goes onto an app which is downloaded across the world, that levels of engagement just go through the roof. The children really want to create the content, and they don't realize the number of skills that they're developing throughout the projects. So our app projects generally take us about a term to create. The children will create everything, but it's about that authentic learning experience, and the curriculum for Wales, that's what fits in so well with that. So yeah, have a think about what's the purpose of your app development.
Brilliant. Right. So Martin's very kindly done a prepared video, which I'm going to play now. As mentioned, please do put any questions into the chat, and we'll pick those up as the video's going. And then also afterwards as well, Martin will be available to answer any questions as well. So if we just we'll just mute ourselves and hide in the background, and then we'll play this. Thank you.
So I'm on the Playgrounds app on my iPad, and already I've downloaded Learn to Code 1 and getting started with code, because I'm going to need those for this session. There's one other one I need, so I go to the See All, and I need to download the About Me. So I click About Me, and then I'll start downloading. So before you start working through the activities today, if you could download these 3 playgrounds, and then we'll be able to show you how to use them. Okay, so the first playground we're going to have a look at today is Learn to Code 1. So I'll give that a tap, and this is the screen that you will see first of all. And there's a lovely introduction that you can use with the children, talking about commands, following instructions. You can even start introducing the word algorithm to the children, so they start to know that coding is such an important part of all the activities they take part in their lives. And you're able to show the children these. And I like this screen because it shows the children that when they are going to be coding, they are actually going to be using the Swift UI coding language. A really good introduction for the children to start developing new skills. They'll be having a character called Byte, and they'll be given commands to move around and achieve, overcome different challenges. And the challenges will be to collect gems and different other exciting things that they enjoy engaging with. So a nice little start there. So if you can just get to the part where it says start coding, and this is the first screen that comes up. And I'm going to go to the top right hand corner and turn off the background music and the sound effects. So obviously if there's lots of children in the class, you may decide to do that as well. So let's have a little look at the interface. So the right hand side, this is the challenge, and I'm able to move around. Okay, you can see that there's Byte, and then we've got quite a simple challenge to start off with. But this is a lovely tool, because if you're mirroring your iPad up to the screen, you may need children who need to stand in front of Byte, so they are able to work out which is the left, which is the right, and to move forward, so they can orientate themselves. And mobile technology allows us to be able to do that. So on the left hand side, if I click in the space, we can see these are the code that we're going to be using today. So first of all, with the children, you will be saying to them, right, let's work out now what we need to do. So he's going to need to go 1, 2, it's going to need to move forward 3 blocks. And it's a point there that the stairs and the surface there, that counts as 1 block. Some children think it's 2, so be aware of that. So what I'll do now is I'll click move forward once, move forward twice, move forward a third time, and then collect the gem. So there's my code, there's my basic algorithm, list of commands in a sequence, and I'm now going to run my code. Press play. So there's byte moving forward once, twice, 3 times, and then success. So it's great because the app is going to give the children feedback. If I was incorrect, then it would show me then that I was incorrect. The same with the children. So have a go at this very, very basic introduction, and we'll soon be moving on to harder challenges. So I want to move on to the next task, and there's 2 ways of doing this. I can come up to the top, and there you can see there's all my different activities that I can complete. So I can go on to add in a new command there, or I can go on to the next page here, and it takes me on to my next challenge. And there's our challenge, and as you can see, a little bit more complex. The bike needs to move forward, but now after 2 steps moving forward, he's going to need to turn to the left, and then another 2 steps forward until he collects the gem. So if I click into my code there, I can start inputting my code. So I said he needs to move forward twice. There's a turn left. Now what you may decide you want to do is break the task down into smaller chunks if a pupil needs this. So obviously I haven't completed the full code there, but I can start by pressing run my code, or I can even come across to the speedometer here. I can go step through my code. Now what this is going to do is byte is going to be moving on the right hand side, and then the left hand side is going to highlight that specific piece of code. So let's have a look what this looks like. So go in there, we can see byte moving forward once, twice, and he's going to turn to the left. So we can see I haven't completed my code, but it may help those children to work out now that there's another 2 steps in the collect the gem required for byte to be successful. So I can go into my algorithm, I can add to it once, move forward twice, collect the gem. Now when I press the play button this time, he's going to go right back to the beginning, and you'll see we can complete the task. So I'm going to use step through my code again. I can even move the challenge. Yes, we go right, he's moving left, moving forward twice, and collecting the gem. So same task. Some children will write the full algorithm themselves. Others will need it to be broken down into smaller steps to allow them to succeed. But keep thinking about using those tools before we go on to our next challenge. Okay, we are on to our 3rd challenge. And we can see that byte needs to be moving, collecting gems, and a new task now, and that task is to toggle a switch. Toggle is a language, a word in the coding language that we use to change a Boolean value. So think about true or false with Boolean. So is it going to be true or false with the switch being closed or open? So what we need to do is to get byte to move along our challenge, and we know he needs to move forward once, twice, turn to the left, move forward, collect the gem, move forward again, turn left, forward, and then toggle the switch. So toggling the switch means we've got to change the Boolean value from the switch being closed to making it to then the switch being open. So that was quite a long piece of code there. So what I'll do now is I use the run faster so that byte actually does move through the code quite quickly. So there's byte moving, collecting the gem until he comes across to the switch. He toggles the switch so that it's open and it lights up. So a more complex algorithm, but we've introduced the children to Boolean value and the word toggle. So let's see now if we can go on to something a bit more complex that we can use with the children. Okay, the next challenge, portal practice. And for this challenge, I think I'm going to change the appearance of byte. So I'm going to click onto byte there, who is going to jump up. And we've got 3 different options. So obviously I'm going to go for this time blue. So tap onto blue. and blue jumps back down into the challenge. So again, just change the appearance if you want to with the children. So our challenge here is to move along the path. We will be toggling a switch, but we've got a portal, and when we enter the portal, if we are facing forwards, we will come out to the other end of the portal still facing forwards. So again, standing up with the iPad and the children being able to orientate themselves is a really important feature. So I would ask the children, maybe those who are already in the class, to work individually. They're able to overcome this. You've got the option of working in pairs, where one partner gives the instructions and the other listens and follows them. You may decide you want to work with a small group. You're mirroring to the board. The children are going to give you the instructions, and as a teacher, you're going to input the code. Or maybe one of the children are going to be the coder, and they will be inputting suggestions from the other children. One activity, there are lots of different ways of being able to use this and to differentiate it for the needs of the children. So there's my code. I'm going to move forward once, twice, 3 times. We're going to be turning left. It's going to be 2 forward until we toggle the switch. We're going to move forward into the portal, come out to the portal in the same direction, move forward, turn left, 2 more moving forward, and then finally we're going to collect the gem. So this time I'm going to go the fastest way of running my code. There we go. And success. So have a go at using this activity. Remember, there are lots of different ways you're able to use the same activity with the children in your class. Okay, so we're moving on now. I'm going to jump to bug squash practice. And one of the skills we need to teach children is to debug the code. So whenever they put code in and it makes a mistake, doesn't work as they want it to, then they need to start debugging the code. And there's a lovely activity for us to complete here. So there's the code which has already been put in for us. And then there's our challenge. So the first thing that they would need to do is go into press run the code. And we see there's byte starting to move, but there are mistakes. The code is not running as we would want it. And that's what happens when he's unsuccessful. So the challenge here is for the children to think where byte is, see where the mistakes are, and change the code so it's actually going to be successful and he completes the task. So I'm going to leave that one for you to have a go at completing. And then remember, debugging the code, use the tools of the speed that you're going to be working through. You may want to go one step at a time. If you're very competent, obviously you can go faster, but see now if you can overcome this challenge and start introducing the concept of debugging the code. Okay, so I'm now on composing a new behavior, and the challenge for the children this time is that they need to collect a gem, but we'll notice there's no right turn. So I think it's really important before they start working on this challenge that they're able to work out a solution before they start coding. And obviously if you can't turn to the right, then you can actually turn left 3 times to get to the same direction. So I know that byte needs to move forward once, twice, 3 times. And then now we need to go 1, 2, 3 turns to the left. And then forward, forward, forward a 3rd time until we collect the gem. So I'm going to run my code. There's byte moving forward once, twice, 3 times, moving to the left 3 times, which allows us to turn to the right, and then eventually we get to the gem and we collect the gem. So again, they're really starting to break down whole tasks and think about being open-minded and being problem solvers. So give the children a go at completing this task. Okay, I'm going to jump across this time to getting started with code. and I've come up to the option called for using loops. Lots of consolidation activities for you to complete there with the children, but we're going to go on to the loops because I think that's an important concept for them to understand. So let's look at the challenge. So we can see Bite is going to need to move through the course, but we're going to look for a pattern. And the pattern is that Bite moves forward once, twice, collects the gem, and then moves forward to the portal. He's facing forward. When he comes through the blue portal there, he's still going to be facing the same direction. And then the same piece of code is going to run. It's going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So to reduce that, we're going to use a for each loop. Okay, so what's happening here? So my loop this time is called I. It can be called anything. And we need to read 1, and then we got ... How many times do you want it to run? Well, we want it to run 5 times. So you're able to put that in there. So in between the curly braces, what code do we want to run 5 times? Well, we just worked that one out because we said we wanted to move forward once, move forward twice, collect the gem, and then move forward for the 3rd time. So this piece of code is going to be repeated 5 times. So to see if I'm going to be successful, I'm going to run this faster, and we can see Bite. So there's the code running once, twice, 3 times, 4, and finally success. Okay, so looping through code, lovely introduction and for the children to understand this concept, and we're already going to go on now to the next challenge. Okay, we're moving on now to look at the About Me and how children can actually begin creating their own apps. So the About Me is a lovely template, as a nice place to be able to start. So I'm going to click onto that. So there are some instructions, but I think I'll go through those with you. So the first thing we need to do is have a look at the interface and what happens. So there we can see the code. Now the children have seen SwiftUI code, so it's not going to be as much of a shock. On the right hand side we have the live preview. So when the code changes, we get to see what it looks like on the app. So this could be a phone, and they'll get to see what their text is going to look like, the code would look like there. On the top left hand corner, if we press the sidebar there, this is where we got lots more content. So you can see these are views. Think of the views as being the different pages. Yeah, and each page there is code that's going to run. So if I go back to, for example, my home view, there's my code. If I want to preview it, it's back to the top right hand corner to this icon here. Press that. The bar closes on the side and we're back to the live preview. I open the sidebar again. So there we can see the different views, and we can also see now the assets. In this case, the images that have been already imported into the app for us to be able to use. Exactly the same as when we're using Xcode on the MacBook. Now the children are able to access this on their iPads. So there's the interface. The children will need to get used to using this. But the changes I'm going to make now at the moment, if I go up to the top, I can start changing the name of my app. Okay, so I'm going to delete my app there, the app name there. I'm going to call it my name, just something I'm able to quickly identify. And then I'm able to think about maybe the accent color for my app. I think I'm going to go to a more of a turquoise color. And then I may want to have an app icon. Now what I need to find is a square photo that I've created, and it's in my photo library. So I'm going to go onto my photos there, and I know that one of these images, I think the dragon there, is a actual square. Okay, so I can close that down. I've actually now chosen my app icon, and I've named my app, and we've understood a little bit about the interface. So what we're going to do once we're able to understand that, in the next lesson, we're going to look at start changing the code and start adapting it to our own needs. Okay, so let's start modifying the code. So I'm on the home view there, and this is my home view. I'm going to get up the preview. So this is the code. So what we got here, okay, we got a few different things. We've got some text, we got some images or an image, and we got some more text. And this is all held in something called a V-stack, a vertical stack. Now what I tend to do is at the end of my vertical stack, the second curly brace, I put in a comment. So I'm able to know which is the end of that particular piece of information, that vertical stack, because there will become a time when the code becomes more complex and you'll get lots of curly braces facing to the right, so it's just nice to know which is part of that pair. Okay, so I'm now on to text. So we've got text, curly brace, we've got some quotation marks, and anything that's inside the quotation marks we are able to change. So I'm thinking about creating perhaps a business card here, so I'm going to call mine Martin Jones, and then oops, there's a mistake, so I need to go back there as I normally would. There we go. So I change my code here, and instantaneously we see the preview changing, showing what my code wanted me to see. If I wanted to, for example, to turn my text into a color, I can just make a space and I start adding another modifier. Start with the dot. Now I'm going to change the foreground color. So I'm starting to write in foreground. There we have a bit of code that's going to help me there. So that's for foreground color. And I'm going to press enter, and we can see that the color of the code of the text is now blue. If, for example, I wanted to be red, I would press dot, and then these are the options I'm able to use. So there's my red color there. So after my text, I can make these changes, so we can see my name now is turned to a red color. Okay, so let's go on to the next. Let's look at an image. Now in my assets, there are already some images I can use. So the one is blue. So I'm going to I'm remembering that one. I'm going to come down. Let's get preview back up. Okay, so I'm going to go there, and I'm going to delete the placeholder, which was an asset. And I remember the name is blue, and instantaneously we can see that blue has now been added to the preview. So let's go back to the third piece of information I want, which is another piece of text. And I'm going to put my X, formerly Twitter, information for people to contact me. So it's at Martin ___ Jones. There we go. And again, I may decide I want that to be a red color. So remember, it's the dot for the modifier and the foreground color. Let's do that. And yes, I think I'm going to change that to a red color again. So it's going to be dot and red. And that changes. So we're able to choose any of the colors that we want. Now there's my image there. I'd like it to have some rounded corners. So again, another modifier I'm able to use is that if I go there, press dot, and then start writing in corner for corner radius. There's my corner radius. Just delete that there. So I just want it to be a number, and I'm going to give that number, then I'm going to give that 10. Okay, so you can now see we've got the curved edges, the curved corners, sorry, and it's starting to look a lot nicer. So on my V-stack now, I think I'm going to want to have a little piece of color in the background. I want to modify the background. So what I do at the end of the V-stack, if I start with a dot, and then I'm able to put in the background, but nothing much changes. So I'm going to put my cursor in between my curly braces, my parentheses, sorry, and I'm going to come up to this option here, and I'm going to look for a background. Okay, so what's built in there is when it says paint, I want to have a linear gradient. So I'm going to click there. Now that code is filled up in between the curly, in between the parentheses. So it's going to start off with the colours, and then go from a lead in. So I'm just going to press enter there to the trailing, which is from the beginning to the end, and then there's my colours. So you can see the colours go from a red over to a blue. If I wanted to change the blue to, for example, the green, then I'd be able to do that, and the colours would start to change. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that, but things are looking a little bit squashed for me at the moment. So what I need to do, I think, is start putting in some spacers to start spreading things out. So in my V-stack, I may put in a spacer here. Oops. There we go. And you can see the spacer is starting to push the content and creating that extra piece of space. So I think I'll put a spacer now at the bottom. There we go. Pop that in there. And parentheses to go with that. Okay, so I'm quite pleased with that. Blue is kind of taken over a lot of the space. I want it to be a little bit smaller. So what I may need to decide to do here is put a frame around blue. So I'm going to start dot frame. And inside there, I'm going to put in a height. So my height is going to be 100. Maybe make that a bit bigger, so I'm going to do 175. And there we go, it's starting to look a lot better. Okay, so I'm able to see some space around my my image. Now my color text doesn't look great here now, so I think I'm going to go back there to the red, delete that, and we'll turn that into white. Yes, that's much better. I'm able to see that. And then I'll do the same thing down the bottom. Adding some white there. Okay, good. Now the other thing I'd like to do is to try and get the V-stack to go a bit wider. You can see the white space there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in a horizontal stack. There it is. So there's my horizontal stack. And I'm going to need to have the curly braces to start and to finish. So everything between the curly braces is going to go into the horizontal stack. So what I can do is I can grab the bottom of the curly brace there, and I can drag that down. So now there's my text added within the in between the horizontal curly braces, horizontal stack curly braces. Now what this allows me to do is to add a spacer there and a spacer at the end there. So can we see that now the spacer has pushed all the content out to the sides, and it's starting to look a little bit more like a business card. It's starting to look a bit more balanced, and I'm quite pleased with how that's looking. So my final change is going to be, I'd like to have these corners to be rounded again. So I'm going to go to the corner radius. So I'm going to come to the bottom of the V-stack. It's easier now because I've got it labeled. I'm going to go to the corner radius modifier there, and then 3 is not too bad, but I think I'll go a little bit bigger. Let's go on to 10 points. Okay, and then that should start modifying. Oh, you can see I've made a mistake. So I'm going to debug my code. So put the brackets in there and change that to 10. Excellent. So we can see now that there's the corner radius. So it's starting to look a little bit like a business card. So if you want to start the children on SwiftUI Code, this is a lovely place to begin with. They can get the code, they can modify it, they can see the changes, they can actually then start to add their own images and their own modifiers, and they can start changing the background. Now, what I think I'll do this time is I don't want a picture up, I want a picture of myself. So how do I do that? So if I get the sidebar open there, I can come to the top where there's the add button with a piece of paper. And from my photos, I can find a photo. So there's a picture of myself. And first of all, it comes in as an image asset. So I need to give it a name that I can remember. So I'm going to call it Martin. So now if I come back to my home view, instead of having the blue name and image from the assets, I'm going to change that to Martin. And when I go to the preview, there we go. It started to bring in my image. So you can get the children to take their photographs, create their own content, and be able to bring that in. That's looking a little bit small at the moment, so I might change the height of this one to 200. See if that looks a bit better. Yeah, that's looking a bit better now. Okay. So, introduction to creating apps. This is a lovely place to start. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to this introduction. Have a go with the classroom, and I'm really interested to know any developments, any successes. Please share with us on social media. If you'd like to see some of the apps that we've created with schools that are available on the App Store, then you can scan the QR code and that'll take you to the Value Added Education app. Now on there we've got our Hall of Fame apps, and currently there are 16 apps created with SwiftUI that have been made by children in primary schools here in Wales. So scan the app, download it, and then I'll show you what the app looks like and how you can use the apps in the classroom to inspire the children to be creative and also to code. So I'm on the Value Added Education app, and here we can see the app icons of the schools that have made and built the apps. All the icons have been created by the children, exactly the same as we did earlier using SwiftUI, and they've been able to choose which app icon is going to represent their school project. Now, if you go on to apps, you will see there's the different apps that have been created by the children. And for example, if you wanted to get more information, you can just tap onto the red button. And then there's the App Store description that's been written by the children. And when you want to go to the actual app itself, if you tap on Open Georgecast, for example, you can tap there and it'll take you straight to the App Store where you'll be able to download the app. So as I said, 16 different apps for you to explore and look at, all created by children using iPad to make the content, and explore them. I'd love to hear what you think. Please let me know via Twitter.
Martin, that was really good. Thank you very much for preparing that, and much appreciated. How did the kids find the activity sort of in the classroom?
Well, it's the engagement levels for me. They kind of they want to be coders. They want to be game developers. So it's just the high levels of engagement. And like I said earlier, it's the children who surprise you, who really excel at this. It's not always the most academic children. The children who can work in a certain way thrive. So as for the actually writing code, I think that one of our apps is the Dragons Community app, and the children there, they were year 6, and they've actually written code that's now used in the app. I'd like to get more, and I think, but as we kind of develop the skills with the children, we will be getting children who are going to write far more code that's going to be live and used on the App Store. So yeah, they kind of the resources are so good. Everything's been thought of. If you're a teacher who's not as confident, you can just go on to playgrounds, and there's going to be content there that you're going to be able to use. So I think that's the exciting part for me. But engagement and lots of resources, so definitely just give it a go.
No, it sounds great, and yeah, we're here to support you as well. So if you have any questions after this webinar, please do get in touch with myself and Martin, and we were more than happy to help you. Tell us a bit about some of the apps that you've created. So this My Future City app. Tell us about this one.
So My Future City, I remember speaking with the head teacher who had the idea for this, and I thought, wow, this is going to be exciting. So there's the app icon, and for anyone who's a Keynote fan like myself, you can see how the children use that using the Shapes tool, using the gradient colors. And what they're doing there is preparing you for a city of the future. So there's a big Minecraft element to this app, because obviously there's Minecraft is a fantastic tool that's available free for all children in Wales. So they've built the cities of the future in Minecraft that you're able to download and then explore the city they built. Again, there's lots of lovely assets there made by the children. There's lots of nice video content made on there using the Clips app. And again, so many free apps available on iPad out of the box, and just putting these together to create the content to engage and inspire the children. So that was a favorite, one of my favorite apps there.
And My Health?
Yeah, My Health. This was featured on the BBC Wales News. It was after COVID, so the purpose was to improve the health and well-being of the children within their school. That's what we did. We looked about creating activities. There's some lovely augmented reality content created by the children there for PE sessions. Some lovely music made on GarageBand, and it's all about well-being. How can we improve the well-being of the children? And again, all digital content created. Lovely videos on there again for I think Tabata videos they've created. We play the video with the idea the children will follow along and complete Tabata sessions. Again, Clips app, fantastic tools to use in the classroom.
Wellbeing Warriors.
Yeah, Wellbeing Warriors, again on the wellbeing theme. Again, lovely augmented reality content. I think if you watched our creativity last week, you'll see how we were able to create some creativity scenes. And there's some fantastic resources there made by the children where you are able to, for example, go for a walk in a well-being forest. The children made all the assets, and it's some lovely relaxing music, and you can walk around this augmented reality world and explore, with the idea being the children will just go and they'll be able to switch off and enjoy the content created. So and there's some digital art there, which I would say is probably the best I've ever seen by the children using Apple Pencil. And the content they created themselves, the art gallery is phenomenal. So inspiration for the classroom. Have a look at Wellbeing Warriors by Woodlands Children in Cwmbran.
Very good.
Merthyr Hidden History. So our schools in Merthyr, we wanted to raise the profile of Merthyr and the history of Merthyr, a rich town full of lots of history. So again, there's lots of Minecraft content, and there's a lovely augmented reality game created by the children in Reality Composer, where they've created some models in Minecraft, and then they've used the Reality Composer app to be able to control the Minecraft build, and to be able to, I think it's a train, that's right, there's a train, you can control the train and drive the train around. I think it's got to try and knock some obstacles down. So lots of computational thinking gone on there. Again, using free apps on iPad.
What school did this one?
This is Troederu Primary in Merthyr, who created that. They kind of, each year the children build an app. The head teacher's really keen on the children to have these experiences. So as we're in the school every year, and we're currently working one at the moment actually, the children, they all get the experience of building an app and the excitement then of publishing an app. So for example, the App Store description, that will be written by the children. The websites for each app, that's created by the children. So it's not always about the coding. There's writing activities as well, audio, lots of different aspects of the curriculum, and that's why it fits in so well with the curriculum for Wales.
That's really good. Really good.
Clantarnham, I love this one for there's the best games created by the children. It was a boy heavy rich class, and so they really loved the STEM activities. So there's a lovely Jenga game made by the children here using Reality Composer. So download that. That's really inspirational for what the children can create, especially if your class enjoys a STEM activity. So yeah, download that, give that a go. And that's a school in Cwmbran.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it'd be another well-being app for the children there in Newin by Pontypool. So again, more activities on the theme of well-being. Some lovely digital art made by a Year 6 class. So yeah, that's another one to download. And Work for Life. So Ryan, you remember this one? We were really thrilled to launch this at BET. So it's about giving children aspirations for life and the jobs. So they've thought about this. They've made Minecraft content. They've made some lovely videos about what jobs they want for the future. They've written some lovely stories with the backstories of different characters. So again, rich in all aspects of the curriculum. And we launched that, and we were able to see our apps are downloaded across the world. So I know this one's been downloaded in Australia, in New Zealand, in Canada, lots of parts of Europe, obviously the UK. But work that's being created in Wales, being shared and viewed by the world.
That's fantastic. That's really good, and yeah, it was great to launch that.
Yeah, excited. George Cast in Tredegar. Again, they wanted to show that they're the local town with a lot of podcast is the main theme there, and there's some lovely raps that have been written by the children and recorded. So if you want to get inspire the children for the use of GarageBand, then download that and listen to the raps that the children have done really well for that one, and some lovely Minecraft builds for about the locations through Tredegar. So a different app. All our apps are different, and they all come from inspiration from the staff and the children.
It's really good.
This is interesting because it's Trackline infant school, so a Year 2 class. So I think we were kind of the school's a bit concerned. Can children of this age can they make apps? But they can, and you can see this is the app icon, and these are drawings created by the children. The school invested with iPad and some Apple Pencils, and their children of Year 2 age they can then create videos. They can create Minecraft builds, lots of different types of content. So yeah, as young as Year 2 building their apps. So that was really exciting. I Wonder Wales, it's a BAME project. Again, some lovely Minecraft worlds created there. Lots of lovely written content and videos that are able to be created by the children, sharing and taking the school to the world. So I particularly like the app icon there. It's quite simple, but it's quite effective.
It's really good, really good.
And History Hunters, one of our schools in the Vale of Glamorgan. I think the exciting thing for this app was it was actually built during lockdown. So that we logged on with the teachers once per week, and we had 100% of the children logging on, and they actually built their content while at home. So which was great. The school were really pleased with the engagement, because that had been it hadn't been great to start with. But they logged on, and they created and they voted, and it just shows us sort of with a good setup and resources that children can learn anytime, any place, anywhere. So that's our memories of lockdown.
Let's hope we don't have to go through that again.
Yeah, I know. So
challenging times.
Positive memories, I think. Okay. Train to Sustain, 2 schools in Merthyr, Anisowin and Troedyrw, about sustainability, and it's the collaboration was lovely. So there's two schools working together, working on ideas, sharing ideas, inspiring each other, and pushing each school on, to be honest, because they both wanted to outdo the other in a positive way. But some lovely activities there based on sustainability, and the children they found out some lovely information, some lovely video content created there. Story World AR. Love this app icon. It's just a very simple one. But one of the little girls who created the world and the books, and it's stories from around the world. And they've actually created it, written the stories. They've animated the stories using Keynote, and then they've used augmented reality to bring the story to life. Some lovely Minecraft builds on there. I never forget a group of 6 boys working on a Minecraft build in collaboration, and they were just totally engaged, and the skills that they produced there were absolutely fantastic. So each app's got its own little story, its own, but I think every app, every pupil has been 100% engaged and wanting to be part of the project.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much for those, Martin. That's fantastic. Some absolutely fantastic work there done by the pupils and yourself and the staff. So thank you very much for that.
My pleasure.
I'm just going to talk about a couple of useful links for everyone. So there is in the chat some Everyone Can Code projects links, and what we've got, there's 4 Everyone Can Code projects. Apologies if you can hear the dog barking in the background, but there's some great projects for you to download around creativity and collaboration and problem solving. So please scan the QR code or click on the Swift Playgrounds projects link that I've put in the chat there. And with regards to the Swift Playgrounds app on iPad and Mac, you can download the app via the QR code there. And again, I've put the link in the chat for you to download. Introduce coding to the classroom. Academia have put together some coding videos for you to watch. Opportunity for you to learn about creating an app prototype and getting started with coding and using robots as well. So these videos are free to view. I've put those in the chat again under the Introducing Coding to the Classroom, or you can scan the QR code there. Schools Club. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the recording of this webinar, the coding one, and also last week's webinar, the creativity one, in our Schools Club. And we recommend that you join our Schools Club. It's an opportunity for you to join our website, which is full of rich resources and loads of support in there to help you with your teaching and learning, and improve and share knowledge as well around using Apple technology in the classroom. We want to create a bit of a community, so the opportunity for you to network and leave comments with other teachers as well. So please join the Schools Club, scan the QR code, or use the link that I've put into the chat. Not many people know this, but iPads hold a lot of residual value, and you can trade in old iPads and receive some credit that you can then apply towards a new device. So for example, an iPad Air, you can get up to £150 cash back on that iPad Air. So if you do have any old iPads that you're thinking might be worth trading those in and looking to purchase a new one, please do get in touch with us. We just need to know what iPads they are, and then we can send you a quote with regards to how much credit you can have towards buying some new ones. Best thing to do is if you drop an email to our colleague Alex, and he will send you a quote, and then we can get back to you with regards to how much credit you've got. And Alex looks after all of the schools in Wales. And if you just drop an email to wales@academia.co.uk or drop us a line, then we can help you there. And if anyone's got any questions or anything that's come off the back of today's webinar, please do use that email address and we'll come back to you as soon as possible. We're here to support schools in Wales. We've been working very closely with the framework over the last year, and we did the events at the ICC in Wales in November, which hopefully some of you came along to. So we're here to support you as much as possible. And that's it. Just leaves me to say thank you for everyone that's joined today's webinar. As mentioned, we'll put the recording in the Schools Club for you to watch, and please do share that link with colleagues and get them to watch it in their own time. And Martin, thank you so much for joining today. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely evening, and we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks, Ryan.
No worries. I'll just play the outs video, and we'll stay on for a little bit in the chat. So if anyone wants to drop a question into a chat, we can answer those as well. But yeah, thank you very much. I hope everyone has a lovely evening. Bye-bye.